question.
Yes.
Diggs,
Good.
come and sit down.
You all started out as child actors, quite early ages. What got you into the profession?
Well, me, I didn't want to be I never wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be a ballerina. But I won a scholarship to the Royal Ballet School when I was about 11. So I was quite good from the waist up, but I've got slightly flat feet, so I was never, ever going to make a prima ballerina. And also, I didn't grow. Oh, quite clearly.
Touche.
Talk about stating the obvious.
Yeah.
And so I could never have been a prima ballerina. Even though I'd got my name sorted, I was going to be Wendowski Padbarova. So I then sort of diverted into acting, and that became what I then wanted to do. Quite clearly, it was always going to be something to do with performing.
What age were you when you started then?
I left home at 15, and I started work straight away.
Wow. Yep.
I never wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be a ballet dancer. But I did the Dying Swan. I was so bad the swan lived. So you should have to buy booze. Come on.
She's French.
She's French. Yes. So I joined Corona School. I was only 7 years old. Well, no, 9 years old when I joined Corona School, and I always wanted to be an actor. My parents were in the Amdrams in Harrogate, the Harrogate operatic players, and I didn't mind singing and dancing in Harrogate on a Saturday morning instead of playing football. I went to dancing classes, so I went to Corona School and started off in films. John and Julie was the first film where I played the 458th citizen, which means it was a crowd scene. And then you get a line in a film and a couple of... Because when I was started, I mean, films were prevalent and television was just infancy, really. So I did movies and then moved into television, and then movies got left behind and I just carried on with television.
Deb, did you have any acting family that coerced you into the business?
Yes, as you know. I was 9 years old, and my godfather rang up my father and said there's a part going. They're going to do this series called The Invisible Man, and the part is Sally, 9 years older. Would you like Debs to go up for it? Well, mother and father thought, well, I don't know, should we expose her to the business or whatever. In the end, they said, yeah, okay, yeah, let's do it, yes. So I went up there, and I met the producer, Ralph Smart, as I remember, and I walked into his office, and as a little 9-year-old girl, it was a bit awesome, really. I mean, the carpets were that thick, and this man was behind the desk, looking rather, I don't know, bossy, I don't know. I was a bit frightened. Anyway, my mother and myself walked in, and we sat down opposite him, and she was sitting there, I was here, and Ralph was there. Hello, Debbie. And I said, hello. And he said, would you like to be Sally in The Invisible Man? And I went, I'm not bothered. And Mother went, kick, onto the table. And he went, what? I said, well, and Mum said, come on, darling. I said, okay, fine. He said, right, let's read something, shall we? And I went, I can't read. And Mother went, kick again. And I thought, okay, I'll have to do it. So I read it, and I got the part, and I couldn't believe it. And I was so looking forward to the first day in the makeup chair. It was a lovely man, makeup man, and I thought, oh, I'm going to be glamorous, as a 9-year-old thinks, of course. I went, oh, yes, please, first day on set. So I got in the chair, and he said, close your eyes. I went, yes, right, fine. I thought, oh, when my eyes open, it'll be wonderful. And he said, right, after about 5 minutes, he said, you can open your eyes now. And I did. And I had a huge shock, because all he'd done was painted in freckles all over my face to make me look cute. And I thought, no, I don't like this. But I did the series for about a year. And it was all right, actually.
That anecdote and others...
Then came the war.
That anecdote and others are in the autobiography from Phantom Films. It's audio and paperback book, if you want to pick that up.
Oh, you're
Your
pushing
story,
it now,
your
are
story.
you?
Well,
Oh, I know that.
well, post-Christmas buck, you never know. Right, so having all works before Doctor Who, did you think Doctor Who was going to be your big break, or were you reticent to take part?
What, me?
Well, all three of you.
Well, you
Oh,
go
Not
right.
just you, Watling.
I know that.
Just because they switched off.
They have. No, it was just another job to me,
Yeah,
really.
I
Wasn't
agree.
it?
Absolutely.
Just another job.
We were,
Yeah, just-
Years
we were
work.
young jobbing actors and
That's it.
actresses, and it was just another job.
But with you two, you would have been brought in with a year's contract, weren't you?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, with me, I was
I
just
was.
4 episodes, just for the Highlanders. That was it. And halfway through the Highlanders, it's an old story, but BBC said, we'd like Frazer to stay longer. So I just thought I was doing 4 episodes and that was it. So Linus Lloyd said, "Hello, Frazer, old boy. How do you fancy joining the old TARDIS crew for a year or so?" I said, "I can't because I've already filmed waving goodbye to Patrick and Polly and Ben and the TARDIS dematerialising at French and Ponds." He went, leave it. And 2 days later, we were down at French and Ponds again. This time I was getting into the TARDIS, waving goodbye to the Laird and Kirsty, played by Hannah Gordon. So I only thought I didn't know I was going to be doing a year's work, just 4 episodes for me.
So when Annika left and there was a vacant position for a girl, did you have any preference on who you'd like to...
Yeah, Pauline Collins. No, really. No, what's for Frankie Howard? No, listen. Oh, just get comfortable. Oh, no, because we were doing the faceless ones. We knew Annika was leaving, and Pauline Collins, and I got on very well with her, and Patrick did, and we said, yeah, can't we have Pauline Collins to take over? And they mentioned it to her, and she said, no, I'm going to do other stuff. And she went on, won an Oscar, for Shirley Valentine. But no, actually, we at the time, because nobody came to us and said, we've got so-and-so in mind for the next companion, or who would you like? We just said, oh, Pauline Collins, that'd be great, But they never told us till Debbie turned up. Because there was somebody else going to do it. And then I read somewhere that there was somebody else had been contracted. And then
No, I hear this all the time.
I hear
and
things
I don't
about
believe it.
Pauline Collins coming in instead and not me.
Oh, that was years later.
And that was years
That's
later.
years. No, that was.
I've read all sorts of
No, I
things
think they've
about
got that
who.
sort of mixed up.
Yeah.
But apparently when Debbie left, you wanted Susan George to take over.
Of course he did.
Is that a true story?
Yeah, because I was going out with Susan George at the time.
Of course he was.
I was going out with her, and when we did Fury from the Deep, and we were in that rubber dinghy, and we were rowing ashore, and I was at the front, and my knees actually turned blue. I've never thought of this before, but Nick's skin can turn blue, and I stood there, my knees were knocking together, and Susan George, who was watching the filming, she grabbed this towel, threw herself on her knees, and started rubbing my knees to get the colour back into them, and all the crew were going,
Yeah, right.
and all the crew were going,
Yeah,
oh, dear. Can we borrow the kilt tomorrow, Frazer? Oh, God. And again, Patrick and I, because Patrick always had an eye for the ladies as I have, we said, let's get Susan in. But she, again, no, I want to do movies. Then she went on to do movies.
Did either of the girls ever rub your knees?
Only on set, I think, probably. Because it was in the script. Never voluntarily.
Really?
Only when ordered to in the script.
You mean you've forgotten?
Oh dear.
I'm not commenting on that.
It's in the book.
Yeah, right.
It's in the book.
About the book.
We're gonna say it. Right. It's a Patrick Troughton event. What are your memories of meeting Patrick for the first time?
I was scared because he was actually at that point my favourite actor of all time.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to watch him when I was in all the Dickens, because he did a lot of Dickens series, didn't he, and the Beeb. And I thought he was absolutely magnificent, so I was absolutely terrified of meeting him. Because you don't know, do you, when you go into something like that? Also, you probably felt, taking over from Annika,
Yeah.
that it's hard to come into something, but I wasn't bothered about meeting Frazer, but, Pat, yeah. But actually, it was, Pat was just...
Yeah.
I've never, ever, ever heard anybody say anything
No, nor have I.
bad or untoward
No.
about
But he had-
Pat in any way, ever. It's amazing. He was
always
an
classed
amazing man.
He always classed himself as a jobbing actor.
Yes.
He
Oh,
was
yeah, oh,
far
yeah.
Yes,
more than that.
absolutely.
He was a brilliant actor.
Yes, he was.
But he had these eyes that could be very scary. Very
Okay,
scary.
yeah.
My brother Roy, who was an actor, and he came back and said, I've just been filming with this lovely actor called Patrick Troughton. You really like him. And I knew I was going to work with Patrick in The Smuggler's Bay, which is a BBC series, whereas I was the leading part, John Trenchard, and Patrick was in for one or two episodes playing Ratsy, an old sort of smuggler. And I've got some pictures, somebody said the other day, showed me, there's me and John with the long hair and the pigtail, the Dick Turpin pigtail, and him as well. And then only about a couple of years later, I was asked to join Doctor Who, and Patrick was hit there, and I was sort of down there. But he was lovely, a lovely man. No star to him at all. No sort of, well, I'm the doctor, and what I say goes, and no, you can't have any ideas. You're just a woman companion. He was like, oh, Wendy's got an idea. What you got? Oh, yeah, Wendy says,
right,
would it be a good idea if we all fell on the floor here, Do you remember that time, I think it was your idea, when we were in a lift, and we were going up in this lift, and the three of us, we had to stop. And, and I think it was you that said this, when a lift stops, we all
do that.
We all do
yes.
that.
Yeah.
So, and I think it was Dougie Canfield. Oh, good idea. Yeah, we'll do that. Might be an invasion. Let's do that. So the three of us all stood there, and on a certain line, if Patrick says, "Let's go," let's go. We all just like, because we kept doing that, and we couldn't do it. And in the end, about 8 takes later, for goodness sake, I wish you hadn't had the bloody idea. But it's true. If you go to a lift, you do that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah. We never got it at the same level, did we?
You thought you were going to say something? No?
That's fine, I will. Thank you. I'm not stop it.
So we can do a voiceover later, don't we?
We'll dub you.
Yeah, dub you in.
No, the first time I met Pat, it was a hotel on the Thames. You were there. It was the launch of the new companion.
Will be a launch on the Thames, won't it?
Shut up.
There we go.
For ideas.
And we start. Yeah, I didn't do Panther this year, so I'm getting them all out now.
And we were in long frocks, etc., and you were in, I don't know...
A long frock.
A long frock.
No, Dickie Bow and all that. And I met this lovely man. Of course, I knew him before, through his films, his parts. And he came straight up to me, and he just looked at me and he said, "Welcome." And I went, "Thank you very much indeed." And from that day on, we became close. We were all close, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
But he was an extraordinary man in some ways. I have lots of fond memories of him, and which I keep up here, which is great. We had fun, we had laughter, he always had the twinkle in his eye, and if anything was wrong, I'd say, "Pat, I don't know how to say this," or vice versa, he'd come up to me, "Debs, what about this? What do I do with this?" It was all just, it was family. We were a family, the three of us, weren't we?
Yeah. Well, Doctor Who is it is a family. It is a
It was,
the strange
yes.
thing is we go to conventions and there's other companions there, and there's never this feeling of, our Doctor was better, our series were better.
No,
It's
no,
always
nothing
you
like that.
always, all the companions and we all blend in and have a drink, and there's never any kind of them and us.
No, never.
We're now the modern stuff. You're the classic old stuff. No, everybody mucks in, and it is a family. And Jenna,
All the
Louise,
girls, of course, the companions,
Yeah.
the girl companions, we all club together.
Yes.
If anyone says anything against one companion,
yeah.
we go, "What?" And we all rally round saying, "No way."
we can tease ourselves, and on stage. But if anybody else said anything about us,
That's
no,
it.
Rottweilers.
Yeah,
But you can say things about me and vice versa.
exactly.
You think,
we can.
So did the family element to the regulars, did that help relieve the pressure, do you think, on a weekly filming schedule?
I'm sure
Yeah,
it did,
yeah.
definitely. But there was an enormous amount of fun as well as the work, wasn't there?
There was never any feeling of, I hope she's in a good mood. I hope
No,
he hasn't been on
never
the
a
sauce.
dread of going to work.
No.
No.
It was
No.
always you walk to work with a spring in your
And really
right.
only a certain amount of pressure on the recording day, I think, when
Yeah,
you
yes,
had a
yes.
limited time
Yeah.
in which to record an episode. And that really was the only day of pressure.
I remember we had weekends off sometimes, and we'd break on a Friday, have Saturday and Sunday off, very
Yeah.
rarely. But I couldn't wait to get back on the Monday because I missed them so much.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was family.
because we only had 3 edits in those days, so they could only cock up 3 times.
Yeah.
And most of the edits were, you could do 1, 2, 3 scenes, and then they couldn't do the 4th scene because the camera cables were going to cross over each other, so the director had to stop. Otherwise, we would do 4 scenes, inside
That's
the
right.
TARDIS, and we go out into the window, back into the TARDIS, then somewhere in the Rebels' palace or whatever. You could do as many scenes as possible until the
I
camera
really like that method of recording where you start at the beginning and finish at the end.
Yes.
And you
like
sort
that.
of, you finish a scene and you have to creep round really quietly
Yeah,
to another set because somebody else is doing their scene. And, it's more like doing a play in a way, whereas
But
now
if
it's
you-
sort of...
If you actually went wrong, you had to go straight back to the beginning.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying, but I think a nicer way of recording than rehearse record,
Yeah.
which is what they do now. Rehearse a scene, record it, done, and they can go out
Yeah.
of sequence.
You
I
don't
mean,
get
you know more
continuity
about
at
this.
all.
than
All
I
the
do, so it
TARDIS
works
scenes there,
but-
and then all the...
Yeah, and it doesn't feel quite the same. It felt like a play, almost like doing a...
Had you done a lot of theatre before then?
I'd done quite
Yeah.
a bit of theatre,
I think that helped because
Yeah.
in
Yes,
those
I
in the old
suppose.
days, sounds odd, but most people had done theatre, so you were used
Yeah.
to
Right,
doing
we did.
55,
Yeah.
60 pages,
Yep.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
in one go.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's
nowadays,
true.
people 3 pages and oh God, I'm lost now.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you remember, Fraser, in one episode or whatever, the cameramen went on strike
Oh,
and
in
they
our...
wouldn't be able to, they couldn't move their cameras. They were static.
That's right. Yeah,
So we
yeah.
had to hit the spots, didn't we,
Yeah.
on the floor. And it was absolutely horrendous.
We had a strike when I was there, but that was
Dreadful.
the all the props men. Do you remember
All
that?
the props men.
Really?
All the sort of are they called props men? All the guys that do
Do they look after the props?
look after the props
Yeah,
and
props
the
men.
sets. But I remember they walked out once and we were still going, and we were about to do a scene and there was a hammer. It was a Cyberman story because I remember what I was wearing, and there was a hammer on the set,
Yeah.
and we were about to start recording this particular scene. And I saw the hammer and I went to pick it up and somebody shouted at me, "Don't touch the hammer!" Because you weren't allowed to touch anything that wasn't your
Yeah.
job.
That's right.
Do you remember that?
It wasn't a Hammer film, was it?
Fire
It's lovely
exits
seeing you
just
all.
over there.
Well, we haven't had gag for about 5 minutes.
Get a bit dry.
Dog's gone to sleep.
Yeah.
Fraser, who was the easiest to wind up then out of Debs and Wendy?
I
Oh, it's
think...
Tommy Padders.
No, I think you...
What?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, I agree,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I think you still are.
Yeah.
I know I am,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah.
still think you're
Yeah.
easy to wind
I
up.
think you're... Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think it helps you with your character was so petite and feminine, whereas she was a little sort of butch tomboy, you know.
Butch tomboy.
So he was. She was a little bossy boot.
She was. I don't exactly call her Butch.
Right. Yeah.
When you had a ladylike nickname though, didn't you, on set?
Would that be Fart?
That'd be Fart.
Fart.
Yeah. We were known as Fluff, Cough and Fart. The 3 of us. Not you. You'd gone by then.
Us 3. But
Yeah.
mainly because if there was ever a problem during rehearsal or recording and something went wrong, which invariably it did, Pat would fluff.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
He'd trip over his words and he'd do all this and he would never be able to get a word out, would he?
No.
So he became Fluff. And you were hilarious. If he made a mistake during the recording, he'd turn it into a cough and then demand water. So the whole thing came to an... and for some reason, I got lumbered with... And I truly don't know why. I really, really don't know why. Do you, know why?
Yeah, because you passed wind.
You must do.
If you forgot
I
a
suppose
line...
I must have...
Yeah, yeah.
Not every time I forgot a line.
It was. You used
I
to...
didn't.
Every time you forgot a line, you used to, you know...
No, I didn't.
And one episode was a lot of fun. No, I think you did it. You probably did it once, and we all went, "Oh!"
Yeah.
And then you got stuck with that awful nickname. But
Yeah.
no, I don't think it was true for the whole
Yeah.
series.
Okay. No. Thank you.
Yeah.
A lot of episodes from the era are missing. So if you could burn one and keep one. You see, we'll come to you last because there's more choice. Which one would you burn and which one would you keep?
I would burn,
She knows.
the one Pat played 2 parts, Salamander.
Enemy of the world.
Yeah, Enemy of the
Anyway,
World.
I didn't like that at all.
Didn't you?
No,
Oh.
I really did not like
Well,
that.
because of the helicopters.
Now don't start on the helicopter.
Oh, the helicopters.
Stop it,
Yeah,
stop it.
that was the funniest.
No, do you remember when
Yeah.
Pat walked into the rehearsal room and he's going to play 2 parts? And he did his Doctor Who first of all, the Doctor. Then he played the voice of Salamander. And we just looked at him and we looked at each other and we said, Pat, are you really going to play it like that? And he went, what's wrong then? I mean, it was just...
He got all, his little face went, oh, what's wrong? Well, like Orville, the duck.
Oh,
What's wrong with that? Is Salamander Pakistani? We didn't know.
but that blooming helicopter scene,
Oh.
no, that was not in that one.
There wasn't.
No, that was Fury.
Was that Fury? Oh, yes. Well,
The
tell
one,
them.
the one that I would rescue is Fury from the Deep.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful, wonderful storyline.
Oh.
If only
Because
we
you
could
left,
get that.
yeah. And we got padders then.
There was one scene I had to, Frazer and I had to rush up this helicopter and get in, right? And there was no doors on the helicopter. And we had
It
to...
was a 3-seater as well.
That's right, 3-seat, the pilot, then 2 seats. And I'm not too good at heights. And the shot was we run in, got in, and helicopter went right up onto a cliff and landed. And I said to Frazer, oh, Frazer, would you mind? I really am not good at heights at all. And would you let me get there first, because I can sit in the middle seat, and you're on the outside? And he said, oh, little Debs, of course.
Yeah.
And the director went, okay, action. I have never seen Frazer run so fast. I ended up like this going, oh, no. Going, oh. But we did it.
Yeah.
We did it.
Mad Mike was the name of the pilot, wasn't it? Mad Mike.
Oh, don't talk to me about him.
He used to chew glasses, didn't he?
He did.
What are you talking about?
Yes,
The helicopter pilot.
It was horrendous.
You used to chew glass.
Yes, champagne glass.
It was. He actually asked me out for a drink one time at this hotel we were all staying in. And I said, yes, thank you very much. And he said, right, what would you have? We met up. And I said, small glass of white wine. Fine. He said, I'll have a double brandy. And I just took one sip and he'd gone, dunk. And I thought, oh dear, what am I into here? And all of a sudden, he picked up the glass and he proceeded to chew it and swallow it. There was no glass left.
Yeah.
I thought, how the hell do I get out of this?
Oh, how bizarre.
Oh, it was very bizarre. Is he still alive?
No, he died of arsenic poisoning. But no, I remember we flew a French helicopter.
God,
You got
I've
it.
just got it.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Bit slow.
Sorry.
We did this helicopter, and it was a French helicopter. And we all had to jump into it and fly off. And again, BBC, no rehearsals, just run. We jumped in the and off we went. And we were flying. And Bob Sidaway was playing a young unit captain. And Mad Mike was going, right, and we're up in the air now. He said, this is French. Altitude. What's that? He said, a height, that's height. Oh, a height, yeah. Gasoline. Well, this is petrol. He said, I can't speak French. We're going, what? No, we were trying to translate all these French. He knew straight away what to do, but he was frightening the crap out of us.
Absolutely.
What does that mean? I would love to resurrect the Highlanders, obviously, my first ever story, because I love to see how I started and and the black and white and the sword fighting. Great story as well. Some lovely performances from Patrick playing the old woman and the German doctor, because I'm listening to it the other day on audio. And I'd get rid of the croutons. I didn't like the crotons at all.
No, I didn't like
No.
the crotons. I'd get rid of the crotons.
What's the croton?
Oh, you don't want to know.
We were supposed to do the prison in space, which was a really comedy story.
Oh, yes. Is
Yeah.
that? Oh.
That was the reason.
That was the one that was in place of.
Yeah, and Peter Bryant said, "No, you're having too much
I
fun.
didn't realise
You're having,
that.
you know, it's too much. It's too
It's too
comedy,
funny.
too funny. You've had too much fun. We're doing and he got brought in the Crotons, and it was all that apartheid. Yeah, the gong, get them now. Yeah, all
Yeah,
right then. Yeah,
yeah.
Nelson Mandela. Yeah, we'll get them now. I'd get rid of the Crotons.
Yeah.
It's less of a question.
Hang on, no,
with-
no,
no, it's less
Well,
of a
I
question we
said
make
the
because most of
protons.
them, most of them
Most
still
of them
exist.
exist of mine.
And we've got a little bit of evidence to suggest why maybe Debbie's went and yours is still with us.
Oh,
Is there anything you want to
That's
tell
very
us?
funny.
Is
No,
that
it-
Fury
no,
from
no.
the deep she's got in her hands?
I need to talk to. I need to talk to my lawyer. I think. Sorry, Deb.
You're right.
Professional jealousy.
Yeah.
It's not Dilys like she's now, but yes, you're
Yeah,
right.
it looks like young Dilys Watling.
Do I look like Dilys?
Yeah.
Do I?
When she was younger,
Yeah.
It is.
But where was that from?
That was all your episodes that I didn't want to.
Gone.
Go on.
So,
I'll go.
DVD royalties, speak to Padders.
No.
Okay.
So, having all had a great time on the show, was
Ah.
it difficult to decide to go?
Oh.
Yeah. I went because they were going.
And I went because my agent said, "Oh, darling, you've done 3 years television now, you must do films." I said, "No, I'm having a ball. As we said earlier, every day was a pleasure to go to work." No. And Patrick's wife was going, "You should be doing other stuff. It's children's television." Because it was children's TV,
It was.
5:15.
Yeah, Pat didn't want to go, did he?
No.
He didn't
no.
want to go.
Yeah, I've heard stories that people say Patrick was getting tired and irritable towards the end.
I couldn't disagree more.
Yeah,
I don't.
never ever saw.
Well, we were there. I don't remember
No.
that. At
Really?
all.
No.
No.
Never got,
No.
it was
He was
ball.
under pressure from his wife to
Yeah.
move on
And I think that's why he might be.
from doing what was then termed just children's television.
Yeah. We would. I've always said we would still be there now. You would never heard of David Tennant.
No.
We'd still be there. They've had
With
to
our Zimmer frames.
Yeah. They had to shoot us to get out of the TARDIS because it was so much fun. We worked hard, summer holiday, hard, winter, Christmas off. I mean, somebody said the other day, "Oh, Frazer, you did 46 weeks in 1 year." I went, "I don't remember just having 4 weeks off. It just seemed like 4 weeks off in the summer, 5 weeks off. It was never, ever hard.
No.
Of course, there are times you've got to, "Oh, God, I've got to learn 12 pages of dialogue tonight." But that's part of the job anyway, It's not hard work. Going down a mine is hard work,
Yeah, exactly.
That is hard.
Yeah.
Learning lines at night in
It's
a
not
hotel
hard.
room is not hard.
Well, you never bothered, did you?
No.
Anyway.
I know.
I beg to differ.
Oh, you were ready to go?
No.
Oh.
Pat became very ill when I was in it. Really? And he had palpitations.
Oh, yes, he did.
And in the coffee break, he came up to me and said, "I don't feel very well." I said, "What's the matter?" "I've got these palpitations." I said, "Pat, you've got to go to the doctor." And that's it. He said, "Okay, Debs, I will." He had a check-up. He was all right. But he came back to me and said, "I'm very, very tired, and I think I have to go when you leave."
Yeah.
Yeah. He never did.
No, you didn't. Oh.
I think it
Well,
must
you
have
would
been
never-
contracted or whatever.
You would never have
But-
known.
Would you not?
No,
Because I saw him
honestly,
so
he
tired.
was. No, I would never have known
Would you
that he
not?
was tired or.
He must have hidden it or
had-
whatever. He was
wanted
exhausted.
to-
I was so surprised. He did,
I used to see him a lot as well out of work because we live round the corner from each other.
Yeah.
So I never picked up on his
No, I didn't.
him being tired.
I heard you left because of health reasons.
Not me.
Yeah, we got sick of you.
No, you didn't. You didn't want me to go.
No, of course not.
No.
No.
Rubbish. No, I decided that I should go. It was enough. I did a year, and it was a brilliant year, and I will never, ever forget it. It was a huge part of my life and my career. But I thought, no, get out in the big wide world, Watling, and do your
Do
own
something
stuff.
else.
And you did movies, didn't you? You
And
did
I
movies.
did movies and
Take Me High.
TV series. We don't mention Take Me High.
Why?
That was the worst film in 1974 with Cliff.
With Cliff. Was
Yeah.
it really?
Oh, it's dreadful. But 2 days into shooting, I thought, no, it's not going to work. And Cliff knew as well.
Oh.
But, you know, I did it. It was fine.
Danger UXB?
Yeah. Oh, the fun was...
Naughty Nora? Was it Naughty?
Norma.
Naughty Norma the Knicker.
Naughty Norma. What?
What? Naughty Norma the Knicker Nifted.
No, it wasn't. It was Naughty Norma.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And she got turned on by the bombs falling. Everyone else went under shelter. Naughty Norma went, oh, what? Got turned on and jumped on the nearest soldier. I had a wonderful time in that one. I really did.
And then, of course, you got Ringo Starr. That'll be the day.
With David
I'm doing the
Essex,
interview here.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm doing the interview.
But I'm worried if she gives all this away for free, who's going to buy the book?
Oh,
Shut up, the book, shut up.
There's
Right.
royalties to think of here. Well,
What was Ringo Starr like? Yeah, go on. We would love to know that.
Best ever. He was so unassuming. And the girlfriend, she played my girlfriend in a picture called Patty Love, fell in love with him, just following him about all the time, all doe eyes. And Ringo came up to me and said, Debs, I said, what? I've got trouble here. I said, yes, you certainly have. Get out of it yourself. That was it.
And David Essex?
Lovely.
You had the love scene with David Essex?
Yeah, I knew you'd bring that up. Yeah, I did, yes. Chalet scene. Yeah, yes. That was interesting. Yeah, it was good.
what was your line in that?
I'm slightly jealous, I think.
Don't
about
stop.
that.
I think she's well, that's sense.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was a line at the end of the scene, I think.
Does anyone know this immortal line I had to say after this raunchy, what, oh, I don't know,
Yeah.
making love and God knows what, yeah?
Yeah, Frazer was better.
Wait, it wasn't a comedy.
You speak for yourself. But what was the immortal line then?
Oh, God, do I have to say it?
Because she was a very prim, innocent
Yes,
girl.
because
wasn't
I
she?
don't know
No,
what
well,
to
What
do.
she was
That
claiming
was an
to be.
absolute tart.
She was claiming to have not.
This is
I've
meant to
done
be
it
her
before.
first lay, when she'd done all the holiday videos, let's face it, anyway. And after this raunchy scene, because I had to clear the set and do all this bit, and my immortal line at the end was, how do you always come so quickly? That was it.
So you worked, after Doctor Who, 3 of the biggest stars in the pop world.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice. That's a nice little accolade. Not to be sniffed at, isn't
Thank
it?
you, Fraser.
No, that's
it's not
great.
to be said.
Well done, you.
Yeah, it's true.
No.
Thank you.